DPS here and not double support out of MVP Black. Looking for more burst damage to kill Tracer. Something like a Gul'dan even is totally possible here, I feel like. Or if I can ruin everything Tracer is trying to do, you get those kills against Tracer, then Brightwing, resets, etc., etc., etc. So something to consider here. I think it'd be really odd if they tried to make Sonya kind of their secondary source of damage and built into a second support here.
I mean, it could work with a Morales.
I was going to say, something like a Morales or
Yeah.
an Oriel, is that possible?
I mean, Ana cooldown reduction with Nano, like, can you imagine Reset, who's touted by many to be the best Leeming in the world, as name fitting for the hero? Can you imagine this guy with Nano Boost and Dominance and
We're about to experience
resets? Like, I think the Ana is the only support that works in this situation.
An interesting little comp that they've built here. Going down the double support once again. But what do you think about it, Gilly?
Well, my main concern for CE is that they have drafted Tassadar and Dahaka together, which means that they are putting a lot on the shoulders of Tracer to be able to get the picks. And looking at things that we have to deal with the early pulse bombs, you've got armor from Muradin if he uses Dwarf Toss. You've got Li Ming who can go into Force Armor to help out with those earlier on. And then you've still got this double support to try to, as long as you can keep Li Ming alive through that, then if they're able to start whittling people down in these longer fights, CE's going to have trouble because they are putting so much on a Tracer.
I think they were just picking the Johanna here just to make sure if Ana or Morales did get picked up, they wouldn't have difficulty. My first thought was like, why not ETC Dahaka? That's a really solid combo together. They can get the engages they want. They can force targets. Tracer can move in. But Johanna makes it much safer for them. So I can see why they went down that route. I just wonder if it's going to pay off.
That's the wrong Lee there, just so you guys know on the lower. It's not a Lee.
No, it's the right Lee, just nobody knows it.
I didn't even see that. That's really funny.
I saw a panda down there, and I was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
You cheeky little fella.
He does as much damage as a Li Ming, pretty much. Water Dragon, Double Dragon at 20. It's pretty broken.
If that's what you like.
I think this is going to be a different Ana game than what we saw last time. It's going to be just more about the healing output for Sonya. Muradin obviously can sleeps people, denying tributes and things like that, but I think it's not going to be kind of that combo like we saw last game. It's just going to be for big team fights with the Nano Boost.
How do you see CE's chances coming back to force a 1-1 situation? Your silence speaks volumes.
Yeah, personally, I think that'll be MVP Black winning 2-0 in this series.
Yeah, Muradin and Sonya together with a Li Ming to back him up. The ability for Nano Boost to come in, like, that is intimidating.
They have no way to camp well either. Like, they have no camp control on this map. That Black is so good at controlling the camps. Like, they have Rhaegar, they have Sonya. Like, camp control is totally on MVP Black's side. Johanna doesn't gain you anything in terms of the blind, really, because they went into a Li Ming Nano comp. Like, I feel like this could be a very one-sided game.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys, as we now head over to our commentary team. Kaldor and Skimmy are going to take us into game number 2 here between CE and MVP Black.
Well, we already have the lead for MVP Black. Thank you very much, Killaris. And we're going to find out right now if that's going to be the 2-0. I feel like the one argument in favor of the draft that we see from CE is that they have the globals on their side.
Well, that's what I was just going to say, but then it kind of plays against what they've told us so much is their strength, right? We want a team fight. We want to go actually, in their face, raw aggression. But then they say, hey, we're going to go to Cursed Hollow, and we're going to try and do macro, which is not our strength.
Exactly. Like, the team fights are going to be interesting here. We have Tracer. We have 2 globals on the other hand as well. So maybe playing around MVP Black is going to be the recipe for success here. We're going to head into game number 2 now to find out if CE can tie the series up, or if we're going to have MVP Black take the 2-0 victory and move on to BlizzCon.
Game number 2 here in the upper finals with MVP Black currently leading the series in a 1-0 situation. This one here, secure them with the #1 seed coming out of this group, which is exactly what they're after. And on your screen currently is none other than CE fighting for their survival to try and secure that second spot. It is KTY on the Brightwing. You're going to have Wind on Johanna, Loktar on Tassadar, Paradise on Dahaka, and Aluful on Tracer.
And to the right side of the map, MVP Black with Kyoja once again on Ana, doing a fantastic job on the last map. Sako and Rhaegar reset, one of the best players, if not the best player in the world right now, on Li Ming. He's going to be one of the benefiters from Ana's Nano Boost. We have Rich again on Sonya, and Tis on Muradin, trying to give CE a taste of their own medicine in game number 1.
Yeah, it really feels to me like their comp, once again, is all about that aggression, getting into the front line and just finding a kill. And almost like Tis saying, This time, I'm going to show you how to play the Murden. We've got the Sleep Dart on our side once again. So Paradise, you tried to jump that back line, you tried to exert some pressure, but hey, let me show you how it's done.
Now, there's already a couple of interesting things. I've watched a ton of scrims from MVP Black, from the European teams, just over the last few days and also during the bootcamp. There's some interesting parts about what we see from Korea a lot. Here on level 1, we already have Perfect Storm taken by Murden. So as other teams, especially in the Western scene, when they play Murden, tend to be a bit more on the passive side and trying to go for survival on level 1, the Koreans really love to go into Perfect Storm, get that additional damage in that allows them to just blow up targets a little bit easier. So that's something that we're going to see quite a bit throughout the tournament, I feel. Murden is picked by one of the Korean teams, and in this case, TIST is no exception here. So already speccing heavily into the Stormbolt.
I mean, it used to be the go-to, definitely earlier this year, even late 2016, when that was the go-to, especially in the eastern regions. And, you know, you'd find that stun target, that person would die regardless if you're a tank or not. But you can already see here, Luftful taking a lot of damage to Sleep Dart. Actually finding its target. Kyocho really on point with the sniping potential, making sure that those blink charges, yes, they can be annoying, but he's got eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah, also interesting now when we're talking about the tank choice, Johanna has been picked very early in the draft for CE, really saying their hopes on her. And with Hold Your Ground on level 1, they're already acknowledging that there's going to be a lot of pressure on her, getting the cooldown reduction for the Iron Skin, the increased shield as well. So really trying to make sure that Johanna is going to be that pillar that is really difficult to take down. But Luftful over here in a bit of trouble, trying to get the kill against Saka, and they get it! Saka actually surviving, and it's Tracer that is down. Saka barely getting out of there, as we already saw the Haka moving in. Sleep Dart lots into place, and all of a sudden he's surrounded by 4 members of MVP Black.
I mean, you can almost understand what C were trying to do there. Yes, it's 2 minutes into this one. C don't have the best control for those giant camps by MVP Black. I mean, they'll be looking to try and take the Rhaegar there. I can understand it, but you say, Tracer didn't have the support from his team. The team coming 1 by 1.
I mean, it's really frustrating. Look at this situation here. It looked like Luftful gets the kill, but it's actually Saka that survives. Walks into Kyoja, who just barely saves him before Paradise on the Haka goes in and at least makes it a 1-for-1 trade. All of a sudden, Black is ahead with 2 kills. Couldn't get that camp in time, but still a pretty cool situation here for the Korean team.
Yeah, Test nearly actually getting completely baited out there as he jumped across, and that could have been the 1v1. I mean, he could have clutched it, despite how close Luftful was to death. He nearly, literally by fragments, missed out on that kill on Sake.
But as you already said, I really like the idea of CE here. They said, well, we don't have really the control over the camps on the map. We know what Black is going to try and do with Rhaegar here, so let's try and disrupt that. So definitely a good move from CE. The execution in the end was not as perfect as it needed to be, but the idea was definitely the right one.
Absolutely, you can see him once again being nimble as dodging left, right and center, causing trouble here from MVP Black as the Stormbolts this time will not connect, allowing Kyocho an easy follow-up for that piercing Dark Quest talent. So with this first one spawning in the bottom lane, you once again argue that CE with that global should actually have the benefit, as they will have both Dahaka and Brightwing still keeping up lane pressure in the mid lane, in the top lane, forcing MVP Black to go for this 3v3 skirmish.
Yeah, one of the big problems that we have on the other hand for CE is that Brightwing at the top lane really can't leave the lane right now. Or if Brightwing moves in with the global, there needs to be some immediate value, meaning you need to get a kill. Because the issue really is that you have Sonya against you. And even with Brightwing on level 1, once again going into Dreamshot, if you have Sonya on the lane and you give her any wiggle room, she is going to drop the structures. And the towers are already gone because it's definitely a mismatch in favor of Sonya. And Rich is exploiting it to its fullest.
I mean, 100%. It's not like you're going to be looking for that curse point or even the second one to try and utilize it going forward. Look at how much damage Reset just took there, but Luftful forced her back away. And yeah, just to finish my point before, I mean, if you do take the Brightwing down, it's only the first trip. It doesn't really matter. Yes, they do get it in the end, but look how much pressure Rich got from that sort of stalemate of like, are you going to go, are you not?
Yeah, so we still have enough experience on the side of CE that they can keep up in talents in particular. But Tracer, this time, done goofed at the bot lane, taken out, and that is kill number 3 for MVP Black. 3-0 in the kill count, and MVP Black is starting to take a solid lead in experience. And also, executing that map control that we heard already our panel talk about earlier with Sonya, with Rhaegar, just roaming the map, especially since Rhaegar, of course, as already predicted by Wolf, spec into Wolf Run here on level 1, followed by the Feral Heart, trying to make sure that he gets those faster rotations on the map going for him.
And we've always known Korea to be a strong macro region. You can see they go for the Giants before the first one, they go for the Night Camp after the second one, keeping that pressure up, keeping these globals locked in place. They're a half-level lead ahead. But you can see really on the flip side of that, CE saying we need to put all our eggs into the basket of this Tracer hype train. Look, yeah, level 4, untouchable. Something you typically see in your Hero League games, you're thinking we've lost this game, but they are so reliant on him actually packing a punch. It could do a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly. If you get the stacks together, that really helps you. You need to apply the pressure to Ana later on. You need to apply the pressure to Li Ming, for example. And in order to do that, if you get those untouchable stacks, that is going to be a huge point in your favor. The problem is, of course, that upon dying, you are losing all of them. But CE is really putting their eggs into that one basket. Just one tricking it through the Tracer here. At this point, we have level 10 kicking in for MVP Black as they go for the tribute. One of them there, CE has, of course, to give up here since they haven't reached their heroic abilities just yet. But this is where things are going to become extremely interesting right now, since we now also have isolation and safety tools with Emerald Wind, having Archon for a little bit of additional damage, and that could be quite powerful here.
Look at that, KT1 and Kyoja having a bit of a support off there, saying, are you going to dodge? Are you going to dodge? And it wasn't going to happen because the action happens in the top side of the map. Yes, they bait out the Dahaka and they go for the 3-man collapse, and with that in mind, potentially MVP Black looking to try and threaten a boss before this next tribute spawns.
Yeah, right now we're already having 12 stacks on Muradin, 9 stacks on his Perfect Storm on level 1, so some additional burst damage already for them. And if that at any point hits Tracer later on, even a Tacita shield might not be enough to save you there, so that's definitely a concern for them right now. Whereas when we're talking about Black, keeping Ana safe with Rhaegar shouldn't really be the biggest problem. Black is doing everything right. CE needs to somehow build momentum. If they don't accomplish that, they will be in for a very rough ride here, with now the 3rd tribute spawning on the map.
It is spawns on the side of CE, favoring them, as Dahaka is still in that top lane, doing whatever he can to try and bridge that gap in this XP differential. But this will work quite well for MVP. If they can get an ace, they can look to try and steal away the boss as well. There's going to be that juking of the poke, which would, in favor, work for MVP Black, especially with Reset there. All set up by the ideals of a Stormbolt, a Sleep Dart, the one shot that can come across.
Now we're talking about the globals for CE. We have already mentioned them a little bit earlier, but this is really where the Haka at the top lane is starting to get a bit of value. Now makes the move down to the bot lane. They're trying to go for the experience as Rich is pushing in the mid lane, and the rest of the team was isolated to an extent where they couldn't rotate anyone top. Brightwing is taking the bottom, but needs to move in right now. There's a Siege Giant camp pushing, but they need to somehow try and interrupt Kyoja here, but it's not happening. CE is getting pushed back completely. MVP Black pushing forward quite aggressively, putting the pressure onto Johanna. Brightwing not moving in. Dodging the Stormbolt though, on the other hand, as MVP Black starts the rotation to the bottom of the map to help those Siege Giants take a few more structures.
As soon as level 16 is unlocked, that kind of distance is achievable, especially with the stun at 7. The impact really starts to snowball out of control. But now CE come down to this bottom lane, looking to try and turn things around. Yes, Dahaka is still in that top lane. Won't have the brush look here yet, I don't believe. Will be quite close regardless anyway. But the bridging of this XP has now been met. 13 is on the horizon for MVP, and they're on Curse Point.
I mean, at this point, we're really looking at even experience just simply because of the globals. And it's the big strength of CE. They have Brightwing, they have Dahaka. They can play around those two. Without Dahaka and Brightwing in this game, I'm pretty sure that we would already see a very solid lead for MVP Black in experience by at least a level. But the way that this is played right now is that CE is, of course, trying to use their strength, the strength of the draft, as much as they can. The problem is that with the next tribute spawning soon, MVP Black has a potential curse on their hands. And that's where CE will have to react. They could eat the curse if they really feel confident enough that they're not losing too many structures, but they are already pressured. And I think we will see them commit to the team fight, but they have their 13 talent. That's important. With Iceblock Nullification, this is great tools, or are great tools for them, where they can try and take Black down. But of course, Nano boosted Sonya, Nano boosted Li Ming, that's always a huge threat.
Yeah, they are going to be slightly late to this one with both the combo of Tracer and Tess coming up to the fight now. Yes, as you mentioned, open and even when it comes to the XP, but that's going to be Win. Just look at his health bar, disintegrate. It doesn't matter what kind of tank you are, just gone.
Yeah, there was a bit of a misplay by him as well. Like, they went into the bush, and the problem is that MVP Black was waiting. And when you saw Wind moving in, he immediately pressed his Iron Skin. He expected Muradin to immediately go for the stun, but that didn't happen. We actually saw Muradin holding it back, and now it's just a snowball. Tacita is down. We're seeing additional kills following up right away as Dahaka is eliminated. So with Sonya, it's the first kill. Now it's a triple kill. The curse is active. They get a counter kill at least against Li Ming, but you can already tell that this is not pretty. Brightwing drops 2, and experience just snowballing away from CE.
It's an absolute disaster right there, starting off with Win falling on down, but one by one they fell as CE come across with that. Luful finding his first stack of the game with that untouchable, as he did take down Reset, preventing any further snowballing in this situation. But with the curse point being active, lanes being pushed, globals or not, bottom, top and mid will be pushed in for free right now as MVP look to try and exert some pressure on towards this gate.
Yeah, this is actually starting to become disgusting here. I mean, they have nearly a 2-level lead at this point. They are taking control over the entire map, and it all really came down to that one rotation. It was a bit too slow, face checking that bush, seeing Muradin panicking, dropping the Iron Skin immediately, and Muradin just said, well, I'm just gonna wait a few seconds and then we're going to stunlock you into oblivion, take the kill, take the curse, and then we're gonna snowball, and that's exactly what they're doing here.
And I mean, much the same as game number 1 on Infernal Shrines as well. It just doesn't feel like CE have actually woken up to the idea of a team fight. They've gone for this composition, which is hybrid, which is against what we know and love them for. But we actually haven't seen a true and tested team fight to try and find out how these comps scale one by one or up against each other, for lack of a better term. And I mean, one kill there, it was a scrappy kill at that, but still, you say the idea of Tracer being the big central point of this comp, we need a fight to try and unlock that level 4 talent.
I mean, just look at level 13, we have Ricochet taking for Tracer, and that just tells us even more that they are trying to go through their level 4, through the ability to get extra damage with Untouchable, and then Ricochet to really have her being the driving force in big team fights. But as you said, that doesn't really happen here. And Black is now taking the second boss as well. CE is finally getting enough experience to claim the next talent level. So on 16, now of course also a spike that they can use, especially through Tassadar, who now has the double storm. He's, by the way, still a fair amount away from finishing his Psi Fusion quest on level 1. He's currently at 765 stacks. But overall, MVP Black is just driving the agenda. It's 8 kills against 1, and we don't even see Tiss with his completed quest yet. He still needs 2 additional hits.
Look at the range onto that. Locked on, nearly getting one-shot cross as KTY coming on through with the phase shift, going straight away for the Emerald Win. The Pulse Bomb's going to connect, but the Mind-Numbing Agent will do so much to negate how strong that can be. Ice Block is there, but only delaying the inevitable as the Sonic Storm drops to the floor, but it's not going to be enough to try and swing this fight in favor of CU. Once again, forced to back away, Win the second to fall. Now they collapse onto Testar for the triple kill. Can I get a quad? Maybe the ace. They all fall on down like dominoes, and just like that, MVP Black say the core is ours, and this series is ours.
This feels like a Walmart sale for now, a 5-for-1 right there, and MVP Black is just absolutely rushing through the bot lane. The keep is down, they go for the core, and this should be game. MVP Black ahead already in the series, and they claim victory on Cursed Hollow as well, making it a clean 2-0 against CE, and they move on to fight at BlizzCon.
They will, securing their ticket through to Anaheim, and we have to see how that story really progresses through this event. Is this the event where they really wake up to their potential that they've so desperately been seeking? But CE now dropped into that lower bracket, looking to go up against who will then be facing either Tempo Storm or Deadly Kittens. That second spot, all up for grabs.
MVP Black definitely the favorite in the group. Everybody expected them to be the ones fighting for the #1 seed, and that's what they accomplished to do here. So that was extremely well done. But it was a very dominant performance at that, and especially on the second map, it never really looked as if CE had a chance to fight back.
No, it didn't. And CE, I mean, you have to start asking questions about their drafting ability there. They tried to go against what we know them for, and they tried to almost play a counter style against a team that you know is going to come at you with aggression. So why not almost play like the erosion tactics of 2 boxing gloves punching together?
So far, a great tournament for MVP Black, and of course, we're going to hear a bit more about the series now from our panel.
That we are. Thank you very much, guys, as we get on with MVP Black advancing on to BlizzCon, doing very well for themselves. And the word that I can think about from that series was outclassed. Very impressive stuff there from MVP Black.
They have way too many weapons. I mean, you go down the list and you're like, hey, don't give them Li Ming, don't give them Sonya. Maybe you shouldn't give them Muradin. And now we add Kyocha on the Ana. That guy is hitting blind darts behind walls. It is borderline impressive and almost scary to play against.
Let's not forget the Rhaegar kill.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty nice.
There's been a few times where, you know, I travel to Heroes events and I'm able to cast or sit on the panel really close to the players. And that's one of those moments where we're all standing together watching the games here on this panel, and I get to hear Sake just scream. It's almost silent behind us at that moment, and I think that's kind of a sign of MVP Black's power level at this moment.
Yeah, MVP Black were 14-0 in league play. They've barely lost any games. They didn't lose a series. I don't see why they should have to start now.
It's a good statement there from MVP Black moving into the quarterfinals, saying this is where we are, but they've not necessarily shown everything. They've just shown, you know, some pretty standard normal things that we expected to kind of see coming into this tournament.
What makes me happy is how different the tone is between the Eastern Clash and what we see here at BlizzCon for MVP Black. At the Eastern Clash, they were bubbly confident. They were smiling, they were giggling, joking around a lot. Here, they're a little bit more stern, and they're bringing that same confidence, but they're showing up here on day number 1.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway for Black is watch out for Kyoja's Ana. I really think that everything else we've seen has been pretty standard, right? We saw Rich on Butcher, but it was, I feel like, a little bit of fun. We know that, you know, we've heard the rumors, at least, that he's been practicing it, said on the interview. He's been trying to do this as a counter to Sonya, but overall, I think this is the first time we've really seen Ana in professional play in the Open, and it's a great showcasing of her skills.
Gilly, final thoughts? We see not down and out just yet. They have still another opportunity to be able to move through into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, CE will be waiting for the victor between Deadly Kittens and Tempo Storm, which is up next. Would love to see a Tempo Storm CE rematch, but I'd also love to see how Deadly Kittens can do versus them, so I'm really excited for the next 2 matches of this group.
Very true. Well, of course, we do have Mr. Kevin Cloken at the stage even, I should say, so take it away, my friend.
Thank you, Kai Loris, and I'm here with the captain of MVP Black. This is Sake. Fantastic performance there in your second matchup here in group stages. You advance to BlizzCon. You take your seat as one of the 8. Fantastic. I want to get your thoughts, though, on your performance. How do you feel like your team's playing? We see fantastic play, but is this the finest form of MVP Black, or is there yet to come something even greater?
먼저 8강 우승 진심으로 축하드립니다. 그리고 앞으로 좋은 활약 기대합니다. 그리고 개인적으로 사키 선수에게 질문 하나 드리고 싶으신데요. 그 사키 선수 개인적으로 지금 현재 MVP 블랙이 어떻게 지금 팀이 운영되고 있고 지금 잘 하고 있는 건지 아니면 연습한 대로 지금 진행이 되는 건지 궁금해서 여쭙고 싶습니다.
일단 유럽에서 한국으로 와준 유럽 3팀 덕분에 많이 실력 폼이 올랐고 뱀픽적인 부분도 도움이 되고 그리고 코치인 노블레스 선수가 있어서 굉장히 마음을 편하게 대회에 임하고 있어요.
First, we have to thank the 3 European teams that came to Korea because they helped a lot during our practices, and we actually figured out how to use band picks very well. And we would also like to thank Noblesse for our coach, who's acting coach right now, who's helping us very nice right now. So that's why we feel more comfortable during these stages.
Awesome, that's right. EU teams did boot camp, all 3 of them in Korea, so they did get some great experience, as did your team as well. I do want to ask you, though, about those Ana picks. This is the first time we've seen Ana played in the HGC. I want to get your thoughts on her. Will we be seeing a lot of her in this tournament? And how do you feel like she brings strength to your team compositions?
그 아나 영웅에 대해서 좀 질문을 드리고 싶은데요. 지금 저희가 HGC에서 아나를 처음 봤는데요. 그래서 앞으로도 아나를 많이 활용할 계획이신지, 아나에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시는지 좀 여쭙고 싶습니다.
아나가 되게 전략적 픽을 가졌을 때 힘을 발휘하는 것 같아요. 그래서 이번에 한번 보여줬기 때문에 다른 팀이 만약 저희 팀이 만약 한 번 더 꺼냈을 때 다른 팀들이 준비를 잘 해올 것 같고 만약에 한 번 더 쓰면은 좀 더 완벽하게 조합을 짜 와야 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
He says that Ana is a very strategic pick, so it works well when you strategize it very well in the beginning. But since we already showed them once, and the other teams will try to find out how to counter Ana, it might be hard, so we have to try one more time, or if we bring it up, we need to be very perfect.
All right, well, Sake, congratulations again. We're going to see you at BlizzCon. I can't wait to see your performance there on that stage. Congrats.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, our first team of 8 claims their spot at BlizzCon and the Anaheim Convention Center. We'll be right back with more Here's of the Storm action. Stick with us.